Hey guys, thanks for giving me just a few minutes of your time. We'll only take about 5 minutes. Listen, every month in Discover Crossroads, our goal is to help people discover God's plan for their life, and we want to help them take steps toward that plan. Now, we know that God's plan for each of our lives is a little bit different, but it includes that He wants us all to know God, to find freedom, to discover our purpose, and to make a difference. And you're already making a difference. You're already plugged in and making a huge difference. And I just want to, I guess, first of all, say thanks for being a champion at Church of the Crossroads. So powerful to have a team of people like yourself who are really setting the culture and the atmosphere of our church. It's really making a difference. But we want to help other people to get plugged into making a difference. And that happens in the 4th week of Discover Crossroads. We talk about all through, it's a 4-week process. Of course, you already know this, but it's a 4-week process. We talk about the strategy of our church. We help people discover their unique giftings, and then we talk about their leadership potential. But in this 4th week is where we challenge them to choose a team that they're most interested in and take a step and get plugged into that team. And it's during that 4th week that we bring in team representatives. We literally have a rep from every team that comes in, and then we want to take this person and connect them with a representative, a passionate member of that team who can connect with them, who can take them on a quick tour, who can answer any questions, and really just paint a clear picture of what it's like to serve on that team. And if you're watching this, then obviously somebody thinks you would be a great candidate to be one of those team representatives. And so if that's something you're interested in, I just want to talk to you a little bit and kind of show you what that looks like to help you to prepare to be in that role and to help somebody to take this important step. Here's what we know. If we don't do this part really well, a lot of people fall through the cracks at this point for a number of different reasons. Maybe they don't know anybody on the team. Maybe they don't know what they're supposed to do or where they're supposed to go, exactly what the serve looks like. But we know if we do this part well, again, where we take them and then we connect them with a passionate team member who can kind of walk them through the process and educate them and help them understand what it looks like to serve on that team, we literally help them to take this step to getting assimilated onto that team. And so it's a very, very important role. It isn't a small role whatsoever. This is a very, very important piece of helping people get plugged into making a difference. Let me just go through what this looks like real quick and just very informally to you. It happens on the 4th week. Again, we're not asking you to be in there every week, but this only happens on the 4th week. We start at 10 o'clock. About the first 30 minutes are us teaching and then reintroducing everybody to the different teams that we have. While we're doing that introduction or that the explanation of the teams, we'll introduce each team representative. That's where we would introduce you, for example, and say, for example, this person is representing that team today. We'll go through that, and then once we're done with that material and done introducing the teams, we'll transition and we'll literally challenge them. We'll have different tables that are set up in the Mildred Bennett Hall, and we'll challenge them, and it'll all happen in one time. There'll be some good energy in the room, and they'll walk over and connect with whichever team that seems most interesting to them at that point. We're not necessarily asking them to sign up today, but they're saying this team is the most interesting to me. And from there, they're going to walk over and they're going to connect with you, and that's where you take over. And the first and most important thing is to connect with them personally, okay? So through the whole process, you're going to just make sure it's so important to connect with them personally. So from there, you're going to take them on a quick tour, walk them down to the Dream Team Central, the hospitality room, Take them down there, kind of walk them through that, show them, hey, this is where you come before you serve. This is where you'll meet up with your team and your team leaders, and we'll have a devotion. They can get orange juice and coffee and snacks, of course. Just tell them all that. Make sure they know to get there get their own time so they can get to their serve point on time. Just let them know kind of the atmosphere. This is where our teams meet. And then you want to take them to where the serve actually happens. If you're, for example, on the parking team, you're going to take them out to to the parking lot and show them, hey, out here by the road, this is where we will have a person. This is the first point of entry, and we'll have a person there. We'll have a guy here, and one here. Show them how it's all set up and talk through it. But this is the big deal. You want to talk to them about the real reason that this team exists and why. Because, for example, the parking team really has very little to do with parking cars, and it has more to do with welcoming people onto our property and essentially saying, welcome home, we're glad that you're here, pulling their guard down, sending a clear message to people, because we know there's all kinds of anxiety that happens when a person's going to try a new church. And so the parking team's really about welcoming people and pulling that anxiety down and helping people enter into the presence of God that way. Let's say, for example, the nursery team. Walk them over. Maybe Miss Cassandra's over there at the table. Show them how the check-in process works. Show them here's the different rooms and the different age groups, and the little babies are down here. If you see somebody you know, introduce them and just explain how it all works, but get to the point of showing them and talking about the real reason why this team serves, which is we know that there's going to be families that come in, they have babies, and they need to worship, they need to connect with God, and we can help them. We can remove that distraction from them for a little bit of time. We can take great care of their child, and we can teach their child while they are worshiping, and even while they get plugged in and serve somewhere as well. Talk about the real reason of why your team exists and why it's so important. And essentially how you're making a difference when you get plugged into this team. Okay, so from there, you're going to bring them back up into the room, and you're just going to have a conversation with them. And we have these conversation cards. I don't have one here with me, but it's very simple. You're going to take, now before, in times past, the questions on this interview or conversation, they were a little bit difficult, kind of pastoral, but we've revamped all those questions so they're really simple. The questions are, for example, were you interested in any other teams? Did you have any other questions about the parking team? Are you involved in a small group? Do you have any questions about small groups? How was your experience through Discover Crossroads? What were your main goals in attending Discover Crossroads? And then you just go through those questions. But again, remember, the key is to connect with this person. Let them know that we're so glad that they're making this step and going through this journey. Encourage them, uplift them, comfort them, and be their friend. Become a connection point for them. It's so, so, so important. Once you get to the end of that, then you'll just tell them that Barbie or Jenny will connect with them within the next week and help them figure out when they're supposed to get plugged in, and they'll walk them through all that. Then the last thing is really important. Let them know that you're there for them, that you and your team are there for them. Let them know that us, our Discover Crossroads team, even though they're graduating, let them know that we're there at the 10 o'clock hour almost every week of the year, and that we're there for them if they have any questions or they're not sure what to do next, that we're always there for them. And from there, you're just then you would be done. That's it. That's all there is to it. But listen, I can't overstate how important this role really is, because again, we know that if we don't do this well, people slip through the cracks. But if we do this part well, then we really help people to take this step to getting plugged in. And we know, guys, that there is fulfillment. There's a part of fulfillment that doesn't come from anywhere else. Like getting plugged in and serving in the local church. And so, listen, thank you so much for being a part of this ministry. We get the opportunity to walk with people as they are asking God, what is the plan for my life during this season? We get the opportunity to do that. It's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. I'm so glad that you are a part of it. So I'm praying for you. We're praying for you as God prepares you to be used in the next several months. And thank you again for being a champion of Church of the Crossroads.